Okay, so welcome back to another tutorial. The reason I'm doing this video actually is it's kind of related to the remake that's supposed to be coming for Avengers Alliance, which I don't personally think is going to happen based on really on the lack of recent activity. It's not like I'm really in on the loop of any of that, but I had to hope for it, but just I had to suppress some of my skepticism for a while, but considering the lack of updates and what a monumental I don't think monumentous is a word, monumental task it is to recreate an entire game by as far as I know, a programmer or coder who didn't actually have any experience making games. It just seemed a little bit far-fetched, and so I think that's unfortunately becoming the case. But what it did do is it got me sort of thinking, okay, if I was going to recreate Avengers Alliance, what would be some of the hurdles? What would be some of the things to overcome? And it got me working in Construct 2 and thinking about, okay, well, how would I go about it? And so I just wanted to show you guys this. It's a sort of how to create a character selection interface. And nice thing about Avengers Alliance, of course, all the graphics are there for us to play with, courtesy of I think the guy's name he goes by Cyrus Annihilator. You go with Spider's Resource, he's got all his stuff up there, and so thanks to him for putting this out and just giving me something to play with here to sort of figure out, okay, if I was going to create a similar game, how would I go about it? So I've only implemented a few characters here. We've got Spiral off to the side. Later in the tutorial I'll show you how I incorporated her into it, but I'll just start off by showing you, okay, this is sort of how it works here. So we'll run the layout. Okay, so I'm not doing the full scale, the scaling. I'll turn that back on. But here's sort of the full resolution. So say we want to create our team. So we got Archangel, choose his position. We'll make him team lead, Wasp, and A-Bomb. Start the battle, and you can see here I haven't created an environment, but we've got our three characters here. Now I scaled them down quite a bit. I don't know if I've got further plans for this project or not, but I know I wanted smaller resolution characters in order to save memory and such. So I think the only one I added any animations to was Archangel. You give him a click and he's got his attack animation there where he, shoots wing blades everywhere. Anyways, obviously that option would be more of sort of a series of attack or action icons similar to Avengers Alliance. So we'll go through how that's accomplished. So actually I'll turn on the full screen, and also I'll just run this again just to show. Okay, so say we want Wasp as a team lead. We'll put Archangel and A-Bomb in the two support positions. We'll say start battle. So there they are now in their respective different spots. So first of all, went with a lot of global variables here, and I know people say that's bad form, but until you can actually show me any performance decrease because of it, it seemed a very convenient and easy thing to go with. So every character would have a couple variables, and we can ignore the experience level one. That's maybe for future reference. But everyone has an active variable, and everyone has a location variable. So if they're active, it means they're on the mission. And then if they're on the mission, you have to choose a location for them, one of the three spots. So that's determined there. So go into our event sheet for that character selection screen. And I mean, of course, just pause the video if you want to see exactly what was done here. But basically, for every character, it works like this. You click on the portrait of the character that you want to add to your team. That then puts the three position slots visible You set the character to active, so their global variable, and then the system adds one to the global variable player count, because you have to choose 3 characters before you can go on to the mission. God, I hate Windows. Anyways, yeah, I love the way you click this. Don't show this message again. It'll show up again in a little while. It always does. Anyways, so once those 3 slots become selectable, when they become visible, you can sort of see the logic here. So if you click on slot 1 and Archangel's active, so from this event here, and you have not already chosen to put them in location 2 and 3. So these are inverted conditions. You destroy slot 1, so it's no longer can be selected by another character. You set the other 2 slots invisible, and you set Archangel's location to 1. And you can see if instead slot 2 is clicked on, it's slightly different. It has to be inverted, that he has not been chosen for 1 or 3, and then you set his location to 2, and you destroy slot 2, so no other character can choose that slot. You have to put in these inverted variables, because it's possible to make a character active, and then later on you choose another character, like for instance A-Bomb, and you choose, say, slot 3 for A-Bomb. What that actually does is it won't spawn A-Bomb then, it'll spawn Archangel and put him in slot 3 instead of whatever slot you originally chose for Archangel. I kind of understand why that is, but not really. I just know you have to do that. So great thing about Construct, once you write this for the first character, you can copy and paste a lot of the other for the other characters. You just copy and paste Archangel's conditions and events, and then you replace, of course, Archangel with A-Bomb, A-Bomb with Wasp, and so on until you've done all the characters. I'd say it took me about 3 hours probably to implement this or to figure it out. Once you know what to do, once I had it down, how to go about it, it's a really fast process to incorporate a character into the game. A new character rather, because of course all these graphics are created for you already. Admittedly, again, the animations are extremely limited. Just have an idle animation for all of them, and then Archangel, I imported his attacking animation. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you how to implement Spiral as a character inside the game. I just have her idle so far. I'll show you how to make it so that she's has a second set of animations as well as how to spawn the extra parts that are moving, that are creating the illusion of animation. And before I do that, I'll just add one more thing. I'm not trying to recreate Avengers Alliance here so much as I'm sort of seeing what could be done along similar lines. And you can see I went with the sort of the classic Marvel stats there, the durability, all the energy, fighting, all that stuff that used to be on the old trading cards. And I'm sort of treating that as the the official stats, the real stats of the character. And I think that could be used in a neat way to create a Marvel game. And that's also why I put in the experience level global number. You want things to carry over between layouts. You've got to, as far as I know, put it as a global number. I'm sure someone knows a better way, but that's my approach to doing it. So the way you could improve a character is as they level up, you could actually have that that variable multiply, for instance, the instance variables of the character. So an energy attack is multiplied by the experience level to do more damage at higher levels. So things like that. Okay, so now let's take a look at implementing Spiral into the game. So first off, I have to write up her global variables, so we're going to add them. First one will be Spiral active. spiral location. And of course not necessary for this tutorial, but I'll put it in anyways. We'll go spiral experience level. Maybe someone who knows better than me can put in the comments why, or if they can provide an example of how global variables are. I understand that they can get confused with other global variable names, but I think the order I'm putting in is pretty logical. But yeah, well, maybe someone can chime in on that. So I've got the stats there. Should probably arrange them in alphabetical order, but I won't do that right now. And so next section. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our character selection screen. So now that spiral has some global variables, I'm just going to copy and paste what I'd previously done, or at least parts of it. So what I'm going to say is it's going to be a mouse event on object clicked. The object is going to be portrait spiral. And also I'm going to add in that extra condition, player count has to be under 4. Because we want to hit 3, so we don't want to keep adding to the player count. And so here's our variables. So I'm just going to copy, paste those, so slot 1, 2, and 3 become visible, and then what I have to change is, instead of set wasp active to 1, we're going to go set spiral active to 1. Add 1 to player count, that's fine. And so now it's these next 3 sets of conditions that I've got to do. So I'm not, maybe someone who knows the shortcut can tell me, but I don't know how to just copy and paste a straight condition down here. I have to add a new event, then do my paste, get rid of that default one, and yeah, then I'm set. So a few other things I have to change here. So instead of wasp active, we've got to go spiral active equal to 1. And we have to make sure spiral's location has not already been set to spots 2 or 3. And probably going to mess this up the first time through. I just did this once yesterday, so I haven't really practiced what I'm showing you here. So we'll work through it. So now I can just copy and paste those events, with the exception being that instead of set wasp location to 1, we've got spiral. Set that to 1. And so now, bear with me as we do this a couple more times. Paste, delete that unnecessary one. So now, again, replace all these with spiral. I could have copied and pasted the previous spirals, but you're going to see that there's other things I just have to change around, like changing wasp location or spiral location from 2 to 1. Either way, I mean, you're left having to swap something out. So I don't know if one way is necessarily faster than the other. And so that was slot 2, so that's this set of actions. We'll copy and paste them, setting wasp's location to spiral's location, spiral location 2. And then last one, and we'll be able to test this out, and I'll be able to see how I screwed up. Maybe. So slot 3, so wasp active, spiral active. Wasp location, spiral location is not 1. Spiral location is not 2. And there we go. Wasp location, spiral location. Okay, so what am I forgetting here? We've got one more thing to do over in this first event sheet over here. But I think this is all right. I think I've done everything I needed to do there. So the next part here, we can take a look at what happens when a character appears on the layout. So in the case of, go to the very top here. In the case of Archangel, for instance, when he's active and when he's in position 1 and when neither of his wings are on screen, we're going to create Archangel at location 1. I've got these invisible locations in the layout. So it's going to create him there. Then it's going to have him spawn his right wing at image point 1. So that's one of his shoulders. It's going to pin it to him. It's going to move it to the bottom of the layer so it appears behind the body, but on the same layer. And then he's also going to spawn his other wing, left wing. Again, pin it to him, move it to the bottom of the layer. So I can actually take, I think, take almost all of this and apply it to Spiral, because what she's got is, instead of 2 wings, she's got 2 arms. So let's see how that works. So not Archangel active, it's Spiral active. Spiral location. And instead of those wings, it's going to be her arms. So we're going to right click, replace object. Oh man, I'm going to have to go through here. So pick the object to replace. Okay, so it's Spiral. Right wing, so right arm. Replace object. Archangel. What am I replacing here? Whoops. Spiral, left arm. So when her 2 arms are not on screen, we're going to spawn her main torso. And again, I think I can copy and paste most of this. I already, ahead of time, I set her other position points for the arms. I think I did anyways. I don't know, we'll find out. So, instead of creating Archangel, we are going to create Spiral. At location 1, so that's this invisible object here, location 1.x, location 1.y. And now she, as I replace object, Spiral, what am I doing here? Instead of Archangel, we're going to replace that instead with Spiral's avatar. So her avatar is going to spawn, place the object, pick the object to be replaced, and that is his right wing with Spiral's right arm, which I think I already put a sign behavior on. So it's set to slowly rotate, so it'll provide the illusion of some animation there. And then we want to, I don't even know if this is actually faster to to replacing these objects. So right arm, gonna pin to, pick the object to be replaced. You know what? This isn't faster. God. Okay. Pin to Spiral. And then replace it. Actually, you know what? I don't want to move her right arm to the bottom of the layer. I think that has to be out in front. And okay, I did a bit of a time warp there because we're sort of coming up on 20 minutes with this video and wasted enough of your time. Or hopefully not wasted, but you know, you've heard me talk enough. So I just went ahead and implemented the rest with Spiral. So here's the rest of the sheet filled out, and actually once you get that first bit about placing the character and spawning their extra arms or wings or whatever, copying and pasting that is very easy and quick. And I just did one more thing with her. I brought in a second set of animations for her. So similar to Archangel, you click on him, he does his wing attack. You click on her, she does her her cast magic thing. And so yeah, so let me show that to you. So we're going to run the layout. And so now let's make Spiral team lead. A-bomb can be a support, and Wasp can be support, and we'll start it up. And there we go. So there's another character added to the game. Give her a click. There's her little dance magic. And there we go. And yeah. So let's run it again, see if she works in another space. So we'll bring in Archangel, Spiral, and Wasp. Start it up, and there she is. An Archangel and Wasp. And Archangel's got his, she's got hers. And yeah, so really all you have to do to enable that animation is just set the animation to the other animation. Make her arms go invisible, wait a couple seconds, set it back to the idle animation, and then set the arms visible again, and you're all set. So I hope this was useful. Again, I was just trying to work through, okay, you know, if I had millions of dollars and tons of time, seems to go hand in hand, I would, and if I were to work on remaking Avengers Alliance somehow, I'd work with Construct 2, and one of the things that you'd need to tackle is, you know, how do you create that character selection screen? How do you implement characters and choose them? And I think that I hope that's helpful to maybe approach it from the perspective of global variables, in which you can also record various information about the character that can carry over from one mission to another, similar to what happened with Avengers Alliance. Again, I hope Avengers Alliance is not dead, but let's be realistic. I mean, a gigantic undertaking by someone who wasn't really a game developer. Not that I'm master game developer or anything like that, but just taking on that kind of task is a bit too much. So who knows? We've got the beta at least, so that's a nice little reminder of the game. And who knows, maybe down the road something can be done in Construct to recreate things. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.